Hey, this is Gene. Just another day at Manchester United. Uh, we can't have 1 or 2 days without anything happening. And this is from the media. And it's out there everywhere now. People are talking about. All the fan channels are talking about it. Um, Apparently, Kobe Mainoo is going to reject any offers from Manchester United, and he wants to move abroad. Okay, so my first thing is, do I believe the reports? I believe to a point that the agent is pushing shit out there so that he can get more money from the club. I believe that. Do I believe that Kobe wants to leave Manchester United? Maybe. Maybe with all the shit that's going on there, maybe. When I talked about before that players don't really give a shit about the staff, in Mainoo's case, he was a youth team player. He probably knows a lot of staff that have been fired, so it might hit a little bit differently for him. Maybe he doesn't want to say he's going to take any new salary or new contract until all this stuff is figured out. Maybe he doesn't want to do it because he'll look bad to the staff in the back. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but to me, I think he's another football player. I don't know if this is true or not, but he's getting like $20,000 a week, and he signed that thing a couple years ago. When he's starting, that would be a very low figure. Um, Later in the video, I'll talk to you about what I actually believe him as a player, whether he's worth what apparently he's asking, which is around 200,000, 180 a week, which is about 10 million a year. I think that's a bit much for him, to be honest. Um, the question is, do we believe the media now? And we don't. And all this does is all the fan channels are just going crazy, and they're all saying that he should be able to ask for it, and then they blame the ownership and that this should have been taken care of after the FA Cup. He should have got more money. Well, he had already signed a contract about 6 or 7 months before that. And yes, you have to look. I have no issue with the players to renegotiate the contracts if they go from being a youth team player to be somebody who never starts and all of a sudden becomes the starter as a midfielder in Manchester United. You probably should get a certain amount of money. But the truth of the matter is, he's not a player that is worth 200,000 a week, regardless of what the issues we have in our own team. With over Casemiro getting 300,000, Rashford getting 300,000, Mason Mount is getting 2,000, 200,000. These are players that have already proved themselves at the highest level, and that's why they get those type of contracts. So if he actually believes this, that he wants to just move away from Manchester United and get out of the Premiership altogether, it sounds like to me that he knows that he isn't the type of player that can play in the Premiership for that long. That he doesn't have the ability to do this, or the mentality, or the physicality to do it, and he wants to go other leagues that will just use his other attributes a certain way. And I think we see that to the players that have actually left the team, they've gone to La Liga, Serie A, that they play somewhat better than they did at Manchester United, apparently. I mean, we don't really know enough about Anthony. He started well for us, and then he tailed off. McTominay was always a decent player. I thought he had in certain games. He wouldn't ask for the ball as much. Still gave everything to the club and everything like that. And somebody that he would never want to leave. But I expected he was going to do well in Serie A, and he's played well there, and I expected him to do that. And I think that that's what Kobe's probably looking at. He probably thinks I'll be better in La Liga, or I'll be better in the Bundesliga, or in Serie A. He won't get as much money there, but he might end up being able to play a little bit longer and have a better chance to win more trophies, let's say. If he goes to PSG, I mean, can you imagine? They'll win the league every week, every year, and they'll have chances to win the Champions League. Or if he goes to Bayern Munich or Dortmund, or if he goes to Serie A and goes to Napoli or Juventus or something like that, he's going to get trophies. If he thinks he's good enough to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona, I don't think that those teams would go after him unless, I mean, I don't think we would sell him for less than 100 million if for those type of teams. We won't do that. I don't think we would. Now, financially, it would be a good thing for us. Um, but everybody wants to. Where side you're on right now? A lot of people are going to support the player. Some's going to say it's the ownership, the fact of all the staff shit that's happening, that it's all part of it, and he just wants to leave during that. Okay, I would hope that he would want to stay and help what's going on. If it doesn't make any sense to me because he was playing fairly frequently under Amarin, but he got to the position where he was playing the 10, and it looked like we had him in a position where he would be really good at that position. Um, but he was same with Ahmad. Okay, these are good players. Technically, they're good players, but they are not elite players yet. They're just not. Now they might get there. I have my doubts on both of them. I'm just saying. I, when I look back at our team for 15 years ago, and you look at the players we had in those positions, and of course we play a little bit different as far as the system, but the quality has gone down so much, and I don't know what this is. I think it's how they recruit players. They use it space or your pace, your physicality, and they don't really are 100% about your technical ability. It's important, of course. You have to have some of that to play at the highest level. But in a premiership, we look for a certain type of players, and a lot of them have to be African and all this stuff. And it's kind of like changed how the game is. And personally, I don't think it's a better game. I don't think it's a better overall game. I don't think that the teams are better. I don't think that this Liverpool team for now would not do anybody wouldn't do anything with the Chelsea teams in the mid 2000s, our teams later in the 2000s, Arsenal's teams. I don't think they would. They could play their whatever they're playing now, the 4-4-3 or 4-3-3, and back then people used to play 4-4-2. I think we destroy them. I think I really don't think it would be close. And back then, obviously, the Premiership was diverse. Still had black players there, Hispanic players there, Brazilian, whatever. We had them for everything. It seems like this is all you see now is just this, and it's just like we look at them when they're 8 years old and say they run a little bit faster, they jump a little bit higher. We have the same thing in our football in the United States and basketball, and you think that okay, they seem to be good. And then all of a sudden, the guy that's really are good that doesn't really talk about him. Nobody talked about Collery at all coming through the youth team. And when he gets up there and he actually plays for the first team, all of a sudden he's just as good as about anybody we have in midfield. I think I think he's better than Kobe Mainoo in that position. Again, I think Mainoo can play the 10 under Anamarin's system, but he has no pace. Now, as I said before, we're looking for pace. He doesn't have any. He has the technical ability with the ball at his feet. He does that well, and I think he could be a useful person. Can he be a first team starter all the time? In Manchester United, I wouldn't say it should be as bad as we are, but historically, I don't think that Kobe Mainoo would be the first player that you would select in your midfield. Now, there are people like Scholes saying that he's great, much better than I was when he was this way. And I'm like, these players continually downplay how good they fucking were. So at this point, there's no question that Scholes was better at his age. And I'm not trying to compare Paul Scholes to Kobe Mainoo. That should not happen. But I think he should understand that his role in the team is that he should be first team. He should play most of the games. He should start most of the games, but it should be half probably. He should get like 20 starts, come off the bench and other issues. We should have somebody that's 25, 26, like Ugarte there, somebody that would partner him in midfield, and then you get people to play in the 10s. and you can rotate those players out, and you can put Garnacho out wide or whatever. There are a lot of things you can do if they're going to stay on the team. But if he actually believes, if he believes in his heart that he wants to play abroad, then it should stop right now. There should be no contact, or the players. There should be no contract negotiations. If you want to go, we'll find you the best players we can get, the best place you can get for the best money, and we'll continually do that until the summer happens, and so you'll be ready to go where you want to go. Give us your 5 places you want to go to, and we'll try to get you there. And it'll be the best thing for the club, and you can go away as I play for Manchester United, and I'm just moving away. We're not going to keep you on your contract, you being upset, and then if you don't want to actually have a new contract, then you're going to just wear it all the way down, and then you're going to go on a free like Pogba did. We're not going to do that with you, because this is a different type of people that's running that side of the club. So if this is true, and we have to say at some point, again, the media lies all the fucking time just for clicks. I don't understand why they're doing this. I know everything that they do is about Manchester United. Even when we're 15th or 14th in the league, they continually have to talk about us. But anyway, we play in Arsenal. That should be bigger than all this stuff. But the thing is that Kobe has been hurt every time he's for every year as playing in the first team. He is not. You can't really look at him to say he's going to be able to play 75% of the games in the Premiership. He hasn't proven that yet. So there's no way that the club should give him 180 a week. It's just not right. And again, I don't have any problem with him saying, "Look, it's going to be 20,000. Can you give me 90,000?" And after another 2 years, and then we could talk about getting something like that, because I really want to stay here, and I want to be part of the rebuild, and I want to be part of a team that's going to give us back the Premiership and all that stuff, and I want to be part of that team. That's what I would expect from somebody who went to the youth team, okay? The fact that I'm hearing this from his agent and he's saying he wants to move abroad, it seems to me he doesn't have the mentality to stay, to go through all this. He wants to go and be able to start somewhere, have a decent amount of money, and not have the pressure to be at Manchester United. Fine. There are only a certain amount of players that can do that. If he's not one of them, that's fine. He can move on. That's fine. You would assume that all these guys are all the players are always on the game together, team together, and you would think that him and Rashford are probably friends. Probably him and Garnacho's friends. Maybe and Sancho are friends, even though they're a little bit older than he is. But when you look at Rashford and him, they both came to the youth team. Maybe Rashford's saying, "You don't want to deal with what I had to do for the last 5 years. Everybody's saying I didn't do enough and all this shit. You can go somewhere else and nobody's going to give a shit about you. And, unless you're going to Real Madrid or Barcelona. But if he goes to somebody else that's a little bit lower than that, he can just walk around and not have to worry about shit. And that's unfortunate for our team, but it's all part of it. Biggest supported team in the world. The media just follows us everywhere. Your social media, this is going to happen. So if I was a Kobe, I would come out and say, I want to stay for the club. And we'll talk about the contracts after the season's over. And I'm going to do whatever I can to get back later in the season. So if we get to a final, I want to be in the final. Stuff like that should come out of his camp. The agent can say what he wants to say, but he could come out and say this. The fact that he's not doing it yet, he may at some point, lets me to believe that if this is true, what the agent's saying, that he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want the pressure of being at Manchester United unless you pay him more than what he's really worth. Okay, that's basically it. Tell me what you think in the comments below. It's not shocking at all. You wouldn't think that he would want to worry about this yet, but why would these young kids want to stay here if they feel everything else is breaking around them? This is a totally different thing now. We have nobody in the team that's going to go through a fucking wall. And they're not, what's weird thing about it, those are players that actually will have done it for both managers. The last 2 managers are guys that are not from England, that are from South America. Guys like Ugarte and Martinez will go through the fucking wall for their manager and Manchester United. It's unfortunate Maguire will as well, and it looks like De Ligt will do that as well. So I'll give him that. I think right now Euro would, but he's a young guy. We'll see what happens with that. But those four guys, um, yeah, I'm going to say those four guys are the ones that would go through a fucking wall for this manager, and one of them happens to be English. And but thing is, I think that McGuire, what we saw last night, it showed why I want Delict to play in the center. I think that we're a lot quicker when he's there. We move the ball a lot quicker, whereas Harry likes to hang on the ball way too much because he still goes back to when he was trained under Ole and all. I mean, just basically counterattack type shit. But with Delict, once he got the ball, he was moving it forward. And anyway, that's another video. Well, let me know in the comments below if he wants to go, then fine. Just fucking do it. Be a man about it. Don't go through your agent, say this is what I want to do, or just be I'll want to do this and we'll talk about it over the season. When I see headlines that says that he's going to reject any offer from Manchester United, really? Okay, so whatever. It's like it doesn't matter. Every 3 or 4 months, one player has to come out and do shit like this. We have Sancho, then we have Rashford, now we have Kobe. Put some. There might be some correlation there. I don't know what it would be, and I don't want to go through you guys to say that I'm saying it's racial, but you believe what you believe. We'll talk to you about it later. Bye.